my goodness, and we're back for part 2 of the tag team best, funnest, happiest, yeah, whatever we're gonna call them.
All of
Welcome to the Armchair Announcer's Table podcast. I'm Johnny.
Very good. I'm Chuck.
it. I'm Mike.
Oh my goodness! I hope you looked at part 1 of the series of 3 of our tag team favorites. Chuck threw 5 of them out there, and 3 of them were pretty obvious. 2 of them not so much, and yeah, he stole one of them from both me and Mike when the
There
New
you go.
Age Outlaws honorable mention. But I still think I don't know if they'd have made my top 5, but the gimmick, I love the gimmick. But
Right.
Yeah.
oh my
That's why they
goodness,
were in my body. That's why they were honorable on me. So
yeah. But part 2 here, it's Mike's turn. Mike is going to be bringing in his top 5, and
all right.
from the first episode, I think Chuck stole 0 from Mike. So
Yeah, 0 out of the top 5. Did
okay,
have New Age Outlaws number 7,
There you go.
but
okay,
Right
well
where I
then,
had them.
yeah.
So
all right. Well,
all
Mike,
right.
you
Hang
got the
on.
floor. Am I?
Hang
Oh,
on.
we're going to get ready to
Get
hold on.
comfortable.
I'm
Well, I got
afraid
like
I'm gonna catch some hell. I'm
well, I
sure.
got 8 or 9 pages, and I don't think I may not have any of them he's got.
Yeah,
But
you
see,
know.
Mike, you got to enjoy. I mean, for you folks that are listening out there, Mike is a teacher, and he got called old.
Yeah, he did. He got called Grandpa.
So,
I'm
but see,
old.
on this podcast, Mike, you're the young guy.
I'm the young one.
Yeah.
You're the
However
young
that
man.
works out, I'll take it.
All right, pal. Give us number 5.
Here
Tell
we
us
go.
your 5th favorite minus the ones Chuck did on episode 1. What do you got at number 5?
Number 5,
Yeah.
the Hardys. Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy.
I had you. I had you. I
Yeah.
was ready for it.
I
I figured you'd do it.
I
yeah.
like the Hardys. I can't argue with that one. I
I
like the
mean,
Hardys. I'm so old. They just didn't make my list. So
I hate that they're still wrestling. I wish they would stop.
Yeah.
I think they're doing nothing to help.
right.
I don't know.
Well, Jeff's one guy I think can actually hurt himself to where he can't walk
Mhm.
if he doesn't stop
Yeah, I
because he's.
just
But
it's so much, but they've been so impressive over all the
Oh,
years.
they are. They
Yeah.
are. They. I
yes,
think they changed. They progressed the tag team
Yeah,
up to it. It was so
Yeah.
good, and then stale, and then
Yeah.
they elevated it. So
the stuff they did with Edge and Christian and the
Mhm.
Dudleys,
Mhm.
like
Yes.
that, just it took
Yeah.
everything to a whole nother level.
Yes.
well, what was so
Without a
interesting
doubt.
about those 3 teams is they pushed each other.
Yeah,
You know,
Mhm.
somebody would do something, they say, "Oh yeah, watch this," and they
Mhm.
do something else, and they say, "Oh no, 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 watch this," and it
Mhm.
just
yeah,
and the bar just kept going. It just kept going up and up and up
absolutely,
and
yeah.
up. And I mean, if anybody says that Matt and Jeff aren't in the top 10 all time, they're nuts.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
You know, I
they,
mean,
And that's what
I know we're looking at favorites,
right.
and
That's
they're
the
one
only
of my
reason I didn't
favorites.
yeah. That's
yeah,
the
They're
only
not
reason I
on
didn't have
mine
them.
because they
Yeah.
just weren't one of my favorites. But
Right. That's the only
that's
reason they're
not
not
a
on mine.
bad choice. It's
yeah,
not a bad choice at all.
and
They were
and
entertaining. They could tell a story. They were great.
always. And the first wrestling show I ever took my son to was a TNA event.
Yeah.
His favorite wrestler was Jeff Hardy. We had front row aisle
Oh,
seats.
oh,
Perfect.
Jeff Hardy was the main event,
oh. He didn't
and
show up lit, did he?
not well, probably.
Oh,
But
yeah.
after the show, he took off his whatever you call the arm things that
yeah.
covers his arm, and he gave
Right.
them to my son, who was in the front
Oh,
row. And I mean,
Nice.
he's just it set something in my mind that I'll
Mm.
never forget. That made a memory for me and
Hell
my
yeah.
son, and
yeah.
it just
That's
I
awesome.
can't.
Well,
Yeah, I have.
that's what wrestling does.
That's what it
Yeah,
is.
If it gives you a memory, man, that those live shows are just
yeah.
man, you remember that stuff.
That
You
was
know?
the by far the best live show I ever been to, and it was because of how much my son enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It wasn't the guys that I didn't
Right.
care about,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we went backstage. We saw Samoa Joe. We got him to sign some stuff. We got to sign, a bunch of people sign things. But when Jeff Hardy came down and did that for my son, like,
That's awesome.
that was
It
Oh,
so.
yeah.
sticks right here.
Oh, that's
Sticks
awesome.
right here.
That's
Yeah,
cool. That's
yeah.
very
All
cool.
right. Well, that's an excellent story right there.
Yep.
Give us number
Thank you.
4.
4 is the other side to Charlie's. Mine is the Rock and Roll Express. Ricky Morton,
Yep.
Robert Gibson. That was the first tag team, really the first wrestling memories that I have. come from the
Mhm.
Rock and Roll
Yeah.
Express, and
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
I can't tell you any of the storylines they had.
Mm.
I know the Midnight Express. That
Right.
I hated them.
Mhm.
Yep.
I love the
That
Rock
was
and Roll
that was their
Express.
that was their story, especially in Mid South. That was their
Yeah,
story.
Mhm.
that's what I remember growing up watching. That's what I remember. That the scaffolding match.
Mhm.
I that will never leave me.
One
Mhm.
of the best things for me with the Rock and Roll Express being Mid-South people, like we all 3
Mhm.
are, up to that time, prior to the Rock and Roll Express, most of the tag teams that were popular, famous, good guys, bad guys, main eventers, whatever, they were 30, 40 years old. They're guys that had been around.
Right.
Yeah,
When the Rock and Roll Express came on the scene in Mid-South Wrestling, it was something that was just those guys usually when you see guys that age, they're the jobbers. They're the guys that get beat by the headliners.
yeah.
But these
Yeah.
guys came in there and they won, and they
Oh
kept
man,
winning,
But
and
and
but
they
the
the
were
energy.
yeah,
right. And the difference
yeah,
with them and between your guys like a Rey Mysterio of the same size of a Ricky Morton,
sure,
they would do stuff that was believable as
yes,
far as they would use their speed. They would use
yeah,
double teams. They would use
Yeah, the
stuff
double
that made
team
it
stuff.
yes. Yes, that
yes.
Yeah,
made it believable they could win because of that.
Yes, I mean,
So,
honestly, right now, but I mean, between the 3 of us, we could sit here probably for an hour and try to think of 5 times in the past year that we've seen someone on WWE or whatever do a drop kick,
yeah,
and I can't nobody does drop kick anymore.
mm-mm.
It's all off the ropes or flying over the ropes or jumping
Right.
over the ropes or, uh, punching or squeezing or super kicking or,
Yeah.
I mean, they made the drop kick an art,
Mhm.
and it was so the
It was
what
good.
the tag team moves that they created, you hold them, I hit them, you hold the
Well,
Midnight Express was fantastic, the Rock and Roll Express was fantastic, those 2 guys, the battles they had, then when the Rock and Roll, they go to Georgia, and then they're going against the Road Warriors and the Horsemen, and, I mean, they just kept going
yeah.
up and up and up and up and
yeah,
up, and they were fantastic.
Well,
That's a great choice.
it's
I like your number 5 and number 4. I think those were the 2 teams for
Yeah,
those generations that really set the bar
yeah.
yeah,
and really changed stuff. So,
Well, like I say, it was
yeah.
so hard it's so hard for young it used to be, not anymore, not anymore. It used to be so hard for young guys to break in
yeah,
and become main eventers,
Mhm.
and you had the Rock and Roll Express who were kids that came in and became main eventers, which is
Yeah.
it was just hard to believe
Right.
in that era, and then the Hardy Boys did the same thing, they came in, yeah, it was getting younger at the time the Hardy Boys came in, but not that young.
Right.
And they came in and just said, "Hold my beer, watch me go," and I'll
Mhm.
be damned if they didn't get in there, and they're in the main event just
Can't say that when you're talking about Jeff Hardy.
yeah, come on,
That was a
just
literal.
say what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
yeah.
Good choice. What do you got for number 3, Mike?
Well, I'm glad y'all like that one because this one's gonna disappoint you.
Oh god, do I need to leave the room for about 2 or 3 minutes?
Uh,
What do you
Oh, we
got?
got
all right, 1997. This is 19 years old.
Okay,
This is the first ECW pay per view that
okay,
ever came out. Me and my buddies got it,
okay,
barely legal.
okay.
Uh,
You or the
yeah.
pay-per-view?
no,
Yeah.
you got RVD, Mr. Monday Night,
Oh my goodness.
and Sabu.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
They had Bill Alfonso is out
Oh
there
my
with the
god.
whistle. He's going nuts. The
Oh my god.
crowd's going nuts. I ain't ever seen anything like it. That was the first time that I've ever witnessed what ECW was.
And it was a madhouse.
It was
And
insane.
but
It was.
but
It
that's
was.
why he did it. He
Yes, it was.
Heyman did that on purpose and brought in guys like Sabu
Because
and
people like Mike
RV.
would do what? They would buy the
Oh
pay-per-view.
Damn
man,
right they
we
would.
bought it.
That was their crowd.
That's why
Man,
people buy, uh, what's the
the AEW,
no, the boxing or the street
uh,
fighting crap.
UFC.
UFC. That's why people
Uh,
because it's violence personified, just like ECW was. It was violence personified.
Oh,
but you
And
look at what they're doing. If you watch any of their matches now, it's what they're doing. What they were doing back then is what they're doing now. It was just a precursor to what we're watching now. I mean,
yeah.
it's not. it's
especially on Sabu.
Yeah.
yeah,
He did stuff that back I mean, he still does stuff if you go back and watch some of his stuff where he takes a step off the chair and flies 4 rows deep.
Yeah.
yeah, going into the
Um,
crowd. I've never seen anybody go
at
into the
40,
crowd.
50 years old at
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Um,
it's just amazing how guys that were in NECW didn't literally cripple themselves
yeah,
yeah.
because like we just mentioned, the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys and Edge and Christians kept saying, "Watch me go a little higher, a little
Mhm.
tougher."
yeah.
These guys over there were like, "You didn't kill
Yeah.
yourself? Okay, let me see if I can." You
Mhm.
know, jumping off the
But
balcony down on the
but
people in the
yeah.
bottom
But
section.
again,
Just absolutely
that
nuts.
was their niche,
But the
you
thing
know?
that stuck out to me was the crowd. I mean, the way
Yeah.
that the crowd got into it was just
Yeah.
nothing that we
Well,
ever
they're
experienced in
That's
right,
right.
and that's
WCW
why their
or
demographic was 19 to 35-year-old
That's right.
males.
It was
There
yeah,
amazing.
you go.
It
it
was
was
amazing.
like yeah, it was insane, and yeah, I loved it.
Well,
Yeah.
I was
I can 100% understand why you got them in here as your favorite team because that's
It makes I wasn't
it's anything that'll make you just go, "Wow," and they
yeah,
did.
yeah,
I mean, shit,
they
they
did do
did.
that.
yeah,
That's
that was
without a
wild.
doubt.
All right, what else you got, Mike?
Number 2,
Okay.
Steiners, Rick and
I
Scott.
thought that I
Here,
thought they were gonna be your number
right
ones.
here, right here,
I thought
Yeah,
they would be your number 1.
I think I
they
know who his number 1 is, but I'm gonna hold
I
on.
I went back and forth on number 1, number 2. They were yeah, it's a real close. I the way they ended when Scott turned
Mhm.
and he went heel, and then Rick just disappeared for the most part, from what I remember. Kinda that's the only reason why they didn't get number 1 for me is because after the split, it just kinda fizzled out.
Yeah.
There was nowhere else to go with it.
Well, it was
It
all
did.
Scott all the time,
Right.
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
and but you're
I
again, trendsetters trendsetters
Oh,
whenever they were a tag team.
yeah.
yeah, they were
Before
awesome to watch.
before Scott, he did, his stuff,
Just leave you speechless.
the things he would do.
Just you know,
Wow.
when he first did his Frankensteiner and
Yeah.
Yeah,
nobody had ever seen it,
no, nothing
and
like it.
everybody's, "My god."
Yeah.
And this guy, what was he at that time, he was still what, probably 275, 280?
Maybe. I don't know if
I
he was
mean,
that big, but he was still big,
it just
big,
my
big
god, the
man.
guy
And
was just
Well, and as a
it
young kid too, like, they always mixed there was so much collegiate wrestling within them too.
yeah,
mhm.
It kinda made it believable, and I was still on the
exactly.
kinda that back and forth on that edge of, "Is it real? Is it not?"
Right.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
they were, like, legit wrestlers, like,
Mhm.
But
they were
yeah,
fun to watch,
yeah,
and just
they
Yeah.
were
And a
Division
lot
One champions.
and a lot
yeah,
of people don't realize how long Rick was actually wrestling before Scott even got involved. I mean, he was Sting's tag team partner. He was part of the varsity club.
Yeah.
man.
He was around
No.
for a while. He was the
Yeah.
veteran of the 2.
Yes, he was.
So, no, that was that I figured they would be your number 1. That was a good pick. I like them.
I had them at number 2, and I got somebody else who I thought was gonna be at the number 1. They may not be. I may be a total fool because
Oh,
they're not in his list yet.
Ah,
I think I know who his 1 and 2 were. So, I
Give me your number 1, Mike.
think I just mixed them up.
alright, I'm going Outsiders,
There we
Yeah.
go. That's what I
That's what I
thought.
had.
N.W.O. I
That's what
mean,
I
That's what I had.
Nash and Hall, they changed everything. They might not be the most technical wrestlers,
Well,
but
that's for sure.
they
but
were fun.
on the mic and the whole gimmick and what they did for wrestling as a whole at that time, it was just to me, there's nobody more important in my mind at that time.
Yeah. Well, and they
Yeah,
were fun. They were
and
fun
Yeah,
to watch.
it was
I mean,
awesome.
it
why
was a
it
s it was a story you could believe.
Yeah,
yes, and it's one
yeah,
like Chuck, like you said in episode 1, you always wanted to go watch Monday Night Raw or Thunder to see what they're gonna do next.
Mhm.
What are they gonna do next?
Especially early on.
They made you tune in, you
Mhm.
know?
when at that time I was hardcore WCW.
Oh,
Right.
sure.
I missed a lot of the Attitude Era stuff because, I mean, at that time, you either had to watch WCW or WWF
Yeah,
or
Mhm.
E or whatever it was at the
right.
time,
Well, at that
and
time, WWE wasn't very good.
yeah, and that's where I was. I was
Yeah.
pure WCW,
Yeah.
Well, they
NWO, and
with
yeah,
when Scott Hall showed up that first night I everybody
Mhm.
everybody was, "Holy shit, what's going
Yeah.
on here?
Where did that come from?
What
Right.
what" and then everybody was saying he said he had a big surprise. Everybody was saying, "Well, who is it?"
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nobody nobody
Yeah.
knew what was we didn't have
The
the internet, we didn't have
said
the cheat
the
sheets,
glory part of everything not getting ruined.
we
Yeah.
didn't get
Yeah.
we didn't get any of that, you know?
Yeah.
And it
Everything changed.
Yeah, and it's
it
definitely something you couldn't pull off today.
like you say, you said it, Mike,
No.
it changed wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
for the better for the longest time till well, we all know the story, but for the
Right.
longest time, it turned it for the better, and it was
Yeah,
just
that's the irony of that story.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, but it
Yeah.
was to have them listed in your top 5 faves, that's not out of
No.
line at all.
No, like I said, I
Alright.
knew I had a feeling who was winning too, where I just had them
Well,
backwards.
they were on my list, but
Yeah.
I just didn't put them in they're not my top 5, but they were on my list. You stole that one, Jeff.
Alright.
You stole
I'll
that one. Damn
I'll
it.
accept that.
You got any honorables you wanna throw out there, Mike?
Man, I have so many honorables.
We'll give you like I did Chuck, we'll give you 2.
This was such a hard category because there's so many good tag teams that
There is.
I just man, I loved.
Alright, well, who else you got? Ooh, he's thinking, man. He's
Yeah,
thinking.
he
Yeah.
is.
Imma
He's
go
thinking.
Sting and Luger. I
Yep.
I've always
I debated them. Yeah.
I've I've always been a huge Sting fan, and
Yeah.
when him and Luger hooked up and they started doing their thing, I loved that.
Yeah.
It didn't last long enough.
No, but because that's one of those that I just I just knew Luger was gonna turn on him. I just knew he was gonna
Well,
happen.
that's the bad thing with
I just did.
that's the bad thing with him. He's
Yeah.
another big show, he
Yeah.
couldn't stay one side or the other for longer than 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then they would flip him.
well, the booking was so odd with Luger his entire career.
Yeah,
He was always
very.
booked so weirdly, and I never
And then
quite got it.
No.
I don't know if he got tired and he asked to go to the other side or what, but man, they moved him a lot.
Yeah,
They
they did.
yeah.
moved him so much,
Well,
but
I think he just got stale on one side or the other.
mhm.
I mean,
But to Mike's point, were they fun to watch? Hell yes, they were
oh,
Yeah.
fun
yeah,
to watch.
without a doubt.
Man, they
Hell
were
yes,
both,
they were
like,
fun to watch.
just the 2 of the favorites at the time of everybody, like, they
Oh, yeah.
were
Oh,
on
yeah.
fire at that time, so that was cool.
That was good. Who's your, other honorable mention or dishonorable, if
I'll
you
go
will?
one more, I mean, you could say dishonorable,
Oh, he's thinking.
WCW days.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, this kinda goes back to the Steiners, the technical wrestling. I've always been a fan. I would almost put the Hart Foundation for the technical, but I'm gonna go with Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko. When they were part of the Four Horsemen and they teamed up together, I really
I
liked them a lot.
I
I
tell you
I
what,
I have always been a Benoit fan.
Benoit is probably. I mean,
both
you
them
know,
guys, man,
Benoit is probably my favorite of all time.
really
And we're not
I
allowed to say that, but we do,
Right.
you know, um
I don't know. Kind of off the path here. I watched a meet and greet Heyman was doing with somebody when
Oh, I
somebody was
saw it.
yelling that,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
and I'm like that. I can separate what his work was compared to what the atrocities he did. But
Right.
as far as a wrestler goes, and growing up and watching, he is probably my favorite. I loved watching
he
because
is so good.
he was
Yeah.
the believable one.
Well,
Yeah,
and to put it in the, tag team sense that Mike just did, those 2 together was just like the same
Oh,
guy in the ring all
awesome!
the
yeah,
it was
It was
incredible.
awesome.
The
yeah,
way
they were
they
great.
the way they flowed, the way they literally knew what the other guy was
Hmm.
thinking.
Yeah.
You could just tell. I mean, it was just constant. And I never liked the the addition of the new guys into the Horsemen. You bring
'Cause
in,
you're yeah.
Pillman and then and
Not a big
Benoit
Paul
and
Roma fan.
Paul Roma and then, uh, Steve McMichael, and
Yeah,
they kept trying, Arn and Rick just kept trying to add people to it to
somebody.
keep it
Yeah,
Yeah.
to keep it going, and I just never bought it. I didn't like it,
but those 2 worked.
but when those 2 would wrestle together,
Hmm.
amazing,
It made sense. Yeah,
amazing. They
because
were good.
yeah,
Yeah, that
Good
I
choice.
did like them a lot.
yeah. I feel bad
Well,
though. I didn't even think about that. I feel
I'll give
bad
you a
now. But yeah,
pat on the
that's
back.
a good one.
Thank you.
for not giving us 2 ECW tag teams. You got to give
So
yourself a little credit on that.
I think you should have swapped that one out with RVD and Sabu, but that's just my own
Oh,
personal
shit.
opinion.
I'm surprised he didn't put R-Truth and Damian Priest on
I
here.
know. I was
That
waiting
was
for
just fine.
Man,
Truth and Miz to
and
pop in there.
Yeah.
I did have that one on there, but that was
Oh,
about number
man.
17.
Yeah, well, at least, hey, they made the list. That's
There
all
you
that
go.
Did
matters.
make
They
the
made the
There you
list,
list.
go.
yeah.
That's good.
Oh, well, Mike, that's pretty good. We
Yeah.
appreciate you guys coming in and watching us on this one. Mike gave us 5 with a couple of little, you know, add-ons there. But as you see on the screen right now, we got Chuck's top 5, we got Mike's top 5, and well, there's only one guy left, and they left
Good luck.
the Drebs with me. So we're gonna come back with episode 3, my 5, and see if I can make these guys at least smile or yell or say or call me
I
funny
know. I
names.
think I know of 2 of yours that haven't got taken yet, so we'll see.
Really, you think you got 2 of
I
mine?
think I got 2.
Dadgum, I'm intrigued now that you
Yeah.
might know. But anyway,
I think I got 2.
we appreciate you coming in. Subscribe, comment, share, like, call me. I don't care. I mean, we give us some help.
Texas.
Help us out.
Comment.
Yeah,
Yep.
let us know. Let us know your top if we don't hit it. We got one more episode on the set of 3 to see if we can match what you do. And, we're gonna miss something, so throw it in there and let us know. You guys got anything else?
I
That's
do
it.
not.
Yeah, give us a few here. We're gonna come back with episode 3, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you.